Hey, it's Ryan from Upfit Supply, and in this video we're going to be unboxing the DuraTherm ceiling liners for the GMC Savana and Chevrolet Express. Let's get started. Okay, as you can see, this is just a massive box. Just a huge box, it's almost, it might be around a little over 6 feet long by 4 feet wide. So this has to ship on a pallet via LTL freight carrier. It can't go your normal UPS, FedEx, DHL, all of that. And so there is going to be some shipping costs associated with going with the LTL freight carrier. Sometimes if it has to get delivered to a house, there may be a liftgate fee or a residential fee or things like that. So that's just one thing to take in consideration when you're looking at getting liners or a floor or any really large object for your van, is it may need to ship via that LTL freight carrier. Now, let's go ahead and get this product out of the box. Again, this is the ceiling liners. The wall liners and the door liners are sold separately. This is just going to be covering that ceiling portion of the van. And before I open this up real quick, you're going to see a little orange sticker on your corner that says hardware enclosed. There's a red ribbon attached to that. That obviously is for your hardware. So I like to open this side first. So we can get our hardware before I pulled everything else out. And this is a rather new thing from Legend. Within the last year, they started attaching their hardware like that. Just prevents it from getting jostled around in the box and all of that. So let's go ahead and pull out our liners now. Okay, the first thing you're going to notice on these panels is just this reflective insulation. This is not the part that you're going to see once it's installed. This is the insulation material on the back. DuraTherm is a plastic panel with insulation on the back of it. So there's this reflective foil here, and then underneath here there's some black insulation as well. So as I flip this over, you'll actually be able to see our liner right here. So this is a white DuraTherm liner. A more popular color is actually their gray or the textured gray liner. We went with the white because in this particular project, we really wanted to brighten up the back of the Savana behind us. And so we went with the white, and we've never installed one in any of our videos before. So we wanted to show you what this looks like. Now I do have a sample here of the textured gray. You can see it's quite a bit darker than the white here. It's got a textured finish on top of it as opposed to just this smooth, flat white. So they say the texture just adds a little bit more durability. It doesn't show scuffs and scratches as easily, isn't as reflective, and things like that. Now another thing that I want to show you on this liner, this is piece number 1. I'm not sure how many pieces there are in this kit, we'll find out, is this is a precision cut liner for the Savana and the Express. It's not going to fit other vans. This is also for the 155-inch wheelbase. So if you have that shorter, regular, the 135-inch wheelbase, it's going to be a different kit because the length of the van is different. And so one thing you'll just notice right here is these little cutouts. I don't know if you can see them on the camera from this side, but if I flip this back over to the insulation side, you can see some scoring back here. And these cutouts, I believe, are for the factory lights that are in there. We have the factory lights in there. We're actually going to take ours out. We're going to be installing some Legend motion sensor ceiling lights that are a whole lot brighter. So we're going to figure out a way to keep these in place without taking them out. You can also see there's some other scoring going on here as well. Make sure you watch our video of installing this in the van to see exactly how this goes in. But I believe you actually have to bend the sides of the liner because there's a curvature in the roof. You actually have to put some bends in that liner so that it fits up nice and snugly up against the roof. And so they give you that pre-scoring in there to make that bending easy. So this is piece number 1. I'll set this off to the side. We got piece number 2 here. Again, you can see this scoring here. I believe this is just for folds. Sometimes if you have to cut around like some foam or other pieces that may or may not be in your van, there may be some scoring to help you cut the liner if you have to do that, but that's not always necessary. We'll find out as we install this one. But I'm pretty sure this is the forward side or towards the cab area. This is towards the rear. Then you actually use this joiner strip to attach that other panel to this one to give you one continuous liner. in the back of the van. Again, we have our cutouts here. It looks like this includes your push-in clips, plastic clips, to go through our pre-drilled holes here. And these are just gonna push into some existing holes that are already in the ceiling. So you're not using any self-threading screws or anything like that. Everything's figured out for you. It's just hold it in place, pop those in there. Now, holding it in place is easier said than done. You know, this is, I think, 30 pounds of liners. So having a second set of hands is helpful for holding this in place and getting those in place as well. Now, again, I mentioned this is the DuraTherm. It's got the insulation, and then we've got kind of our protective material right here. The primary purpose of these liners is really to protect the van, because if you have tools, equipment, cargo, whatever shift, and it hits the side of the van, that's the exterior sheet metal of the van, dents really easily, paint chips, so on and so forth. And so the primary purpose of these is to take the hits rather than your van taking the hits. But the secondary purpose is this insulation benefit with this insulation on the back. Control road noise, keep temperatures under control as well. And then obviously it's going to greatly improve the aesthetics in the back of the van. Now there's one other optional piece with these ceiling liners, the ceiling sills, and I'll go grab those right now. All right, so we have the ceiling sills here. This is an option. You know, if you're buying this from upfitsupply.com, we make this optional. Utilize it, but there are some use cases where you don't need it. And so these are a diamond plate aluminum sill that sit in between your wall liner and your ceiling liner. So it's gonna be basically at the corners of the van, going from front to back. And this looks like it might even be for like the rear, or maybe over the sliding door or hinge door, depending on what you have. And then again, this just makes that transition nicely from wall to ceiling. There's not gonna be a gap there. If you don't get these, there's gonna be kind of a little awkward looking gap. So this really helps with that as well. Got this diamond plate texture to it. Looks like we do have 4 different pieces here. And then we have a bunch of self-threading screws that actually, it's either gonna attach the sill to the liner or the sill to the sheet metal in the van. And there's already pre-drilled holes in these sills that line up with safe locations on the van where you can put in those screws and attach it, and it's not gonna go through, you know, the roof or the wall of the van, and so on. So everything that you need to install. Again, we're going to be installing this in the Savana behind me, so make sure you check out that video. We also have unboxing and installation videos of the wall liners and the door liners, which again are sold separately. You kind of buy the ceiling, the doors, and the walls individually, or you can buy them as a package together. But the reason that we sell it that way is because sometimes, like if you have glass on your side and your rear doors, then the door liners really aren't necessary because they cover up essentially where that glass is. Sometimes people don't want the ceiling liners because of various equipment or racks they have on the ceiling and things like that. And so we just make it easy to get the pieces that you need and not the ones that you don't. So if you're looking for these ceiling liners or any other equipment to get your van ready for work, be sure to check us out at upfitsupply.com. My name is Ryan, and have a good one.